Senator Xenophon.
Thank you, Acting Deputy President. I rise tonight to speak on an issue of great importance and one that I feel needs to be spoken on with honesty, compassion and openness. A few weeks ago, I was fortunate enough, privileged enough to meet with Nick Lee, whose wife Jodie was diagnosed with bowel cancer in 2008 at just 39 years of age. Jodie had no symptoms before her diagnosis. She complained of constipation, abdominal pain and some bloating one day. Tests the following day revealed a large tumour blocking her bowel. Jodie underwent emergency surgery, but unfortunately the cancer had spread to her liver and lymph system. Jodie had stage 4 bowel cancer and at best only had 2 years to live. It was a tragic sentence. Jodie passed away in 2010, leaving behind her husband, 2 children, Jack and Arabella, and of course a devastated network of family and friends. I would love to be able to say that stories such as this are uncommon, but the Lee family story is unfortunately not atypical. Bowel cancer is Australia's single most common internal cancer and our second leading cause of cancer-related death after lung cancer. It kills nearly 1 person every 2 hours, a staggering 5,000 Australians every year. 1 in 12 Australians will develop bowel cancer in their lifetime. Worse still, by 2020 it is estimated that 20,000 new cases will be detected every year. And perhaps most critically, if diagnosed early, 90% of bowel cancer cases can be treated and cured. But we do not place the emphasis that we should on the importance of prevention of this insidious disease. We all know smoking is the leading cause of lung cancer, and for generations, governments have admirably taken on big tobacco by strengthening advertising standards and most recently with the push for plain packaging of cigarettes. Yet similar attention is not given to the prevention and treatment of bowel cancer. Bowel cancer currently costs the federal government an estimated $1 billion per annum in terms of health costs, but biannual screening at a participation rate of just 40% could save between $53 and $71 million per year. But of course, these economic costs can't be measured with the human costs to Nick Lee and his family, the human cost of the thousands of Australians who die each year from bowel cancer, and it's a disease that if caught early, you can have that 90% cure rate. But with bowel cancer, Madam Acting Deputy President, there isn't an obvious bad guy to fight like there is with big tobacco. And there is no distinct cause, so there are no explicit pictures or measures to scare people into healthier behaviour. There is only screening and early detection. We need to address the reasons people are shirking screening tests. There is no question that the idea of a bowel screening test is uncomfortable and difficult for many. But what is more difficult, as I'm sure Nick Lee will attest, is to losing a loved one to this awful disease. Many people do not experience any symptoms until the cancer becomes more advanced or has spread, which is why early detection is the key. Jodie Lee's cancer could have been detected earlier, and it would be telling a very different story today if that had been the case. Bowel cancer predominantly affects people aged over 50, but it is increasingly being diagnosed in people in their 30s and 40s. While the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program will eventually offer biennial screening to all Australians between the ages of 50 and 74, I'm concerned that this program will not be fully implemented until after 2018. And where does that leave those under 50 who we know are still at risk of developing bowel cancer, even if they have no family history of the disease? We must be doing more to encourage people to get screened for bowel cancer. Bowel cancer is a major health issue in Australia, and it is critical that the Australian public are made aware of the issue and the solution, and that solution is early detection. I want to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the work Nick has done in this regard since Jodie's passing. Nick has taken this tragedy, the kind of event that would make many of us turn their backs on the world, and is using it to try and raise awareness of the prevalence of this disease and promoting the importance of bowel cancer screening. He has established the Jodie Lee Foundation, a charity with a clear message: the early detection of bowel cancer saves lives. The Foundation's objectives are to promote awareness about the high incidence of bowel cancer in Australia, to educate Australians about the importance of bowel screening and the tests available, and to improve the uptake of regular and appropriate screening for bowel cancer for all people from age 40. These are excellent and admirable goals, but I find it hard to understand why it took the death of a young woman to establish such a foundation. If this cancer is our second biggest killer, why aren't we hearing about it more? Why aren't there more of us, whether it's politicians, celebrities and everyday people, lining up to raise awareness? Where is the funding and the morning teas and the sponsored walks or readathons? I said before that this subject needed to be addressed with honesty and compassion. There is something about human beings that makes us uncomfortable about discussing bowel conditions, but it's time to overcome that. We might not even realise it, but our inbuilt reticence on this subject is costing people their lives. I thank Nick Lee for the work he and the Foundation are doing. I'm so very sorry that he ever had reason to become involved in this subject, but I believe many people will be thankful that he has. I strongly encourage the government to begin working with the Foundation to raise awareness of this issue and to begin building an even more comprehensive strategy to increase testing in Australia. Lives literally depend on it.